All right. Okay. So I was headed out into these ATL streets, about to get ready, and there was some news, and I heard about it. It was late information, and I told y'all when people send out information late on a Friday, they just want to bury it. They don't want to talk about it because if they wanted to talk about it, they would have put it out on a Monday or they would have put it out on a Wednesday or a Thursday. But if you put a story out late on a Friday, you want to bury it. All right. So we know earlier today that Shedeur Sanders, people showed him, balling out at practice. I saw a video of him, skipping, doing just in a jovial mood, right? And people in the comments, we had conversations after the members live stream, and I was responding to comments, and several people, told me what Albert Breer said about Shedeur. And I know Albert Breer is essentially a hater of Shedeur. That's documented. You could go to court and have evidence that's already available to prove that he hates on Shedeur. He also said, Shedeur don't be surprised if he get traded, but he also thinks it's illogical for Shedeur to get traded, right? So here's the thing, and this is why I think Albert Breer, if he said that Shedeur could get traded, this is why. The late breaking news is at the end of the day, on today, Friday, it was reported that the Browns had tryouts for new players, and one was a quarterback. Now, I for the life of me, don't know why it is that you have Deshaun Watson coming back. And we talked about Deshaun Watson too. You have Deshaun Watson coming back. You have Shedeur expected to play 4 games no matter what. You have rumors that he could be traded before the deadline, which is a week from Tuesday, right? A week from Tuesday. And then you have Dillon. Now, you went and got an undrafted free agent who used to play for Memphis at the age, he's 22 years old. You went and got him to do exactly what? What did you go get an undrafted free agent for? You already got Dillon. Dillon is an undrafted free agent. Even Asante Samuel said it, and he's a pro, so he knows. Dillon is not even an NFL caliber QB. So are you planning to cut or trade Dillon? Word on the street is Shedeur is going to be in limbo, stuck in the middle between Dillon, possibly Bailey Zapp, and maybe the new signal caller will go to the practice squad. But don't forget, Deshaun is running around there somewhere too. And we talked about this. We talked about, is Deshaun Watson going to come back to practice at the end of October, which is next week? And he could play in some of the games with Shedeur. They've rotated. They've had Flacco playing with DTR so they could do it again, right? Here's the thing, right? The Browns are trash for this. And let me tell you why. They already have 4 quarterbacks. So why would you go get a 5th? Or you want to play in whose face? You want Shedeur to feel uncomfortable because you're going to go get somebody else? Or are you trying to trade Dillon, which means you playing in his face? So you're going to go get an undrafted free agent to do what exactly? This is why anybody is saying that Shedeur could be traded before the deadline. I read this article 3 times to make sure it was for this year, and it involves Shedeur, and it did. They also brought in a wide receiver, Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice, because, he got dismissed by the Chargers. And y'all know he was done dirty in the draft too. So they got Jerry Rice's son and Deion Sanders' son over there. Let's see if Brendan Rice makes the squad. Tell me in the comments why it is you think the Browns have a fifth quarterback. So now they're back to 5 QBs. They're evaluating a 5th QB. You gonna trade Deshaun Watson for $46 million that you owe him? Or is his Achilles, the other Achilles, gonna tear, and the insurance company gonna pay that $46 million too next year, like they paying $46 million this year, which means the Browns not paying Deshaun Watson all that money that people keep whining about. The insurance company is. You started off with too many quarterbacks. It wasn't enough reps to go around for Shedeur to get reps. So you let Flacco suck up the reps. You let Pickett suck up the reps. Both of them are gone. And now that Shedeur is QB2 behind Dillon, and Dillon ain't the guy. You're going to go run out and get another undrafted free agent. To do what? To block Shedeur? So Shedeur could be stuck in limbo, stuck in the middle? It is documented. I didn't even want to talk about this. I was just going to go on about my day and say the hell with it, because you know what? The Browns are hopeless. They hopeless. You don't even need another quarterback. So the only reason you could possibly want to bring in an undrafted free agent is to try to make your current quarterbacks feel like they have no stability. Who does that before a good game? And with the way that Shedeur was skipping around, he's not feeling the pressure. So you want Dillon to be uncomfortable, because Dillon is an undrafted free agent. So Dillon's not working out. So you're going to go get another undrafted free agent. Getting somebody pennies on the dollar to not help you solve your problem. You got Bailey Zapp that can't help you solve your problem. The only person that can help you solve your problem is Shedeur, and you want to keep him stuck in the middle in limbo. They already know Shedeur is one play away from getting in that game. And I happen to believe that this might be the game that they have no choice but to bring in Shedeur. It's not a coincidence before the Patriots game with Christian Gonzalez, former Buff and former Oregon Duck, licking his chops, and the rest of the outstanding defensive players that they have ready to force fumbles from Dillon, ready to take the ball from him, that they will bring in a 5th quarterback. So let me guess. Deshaun Watson still got a week before he could practice, so he's not available. What's wrong with Bailey Zapp? Why did you go get him? Better yet, why did you cut Huntley to go get Bailey Zapp? And now you're going to get undrafted free agent from Memphis when Dillon is one play away from Shedeur playing. The Browns team doesn't even deserve Shedeur's excellence. They really don't. This team is hapless. And in addition to bringing in another quarterback, which is 5, which means there's not enough reps to go around, you brought him in to try out. Did say he signed him, but there was no need to bring him in to try out. You already have 4. With Deshaun getting ready to return, you have 4 active QBs. 1 on the practice squad that you could make active anytime. So whose head are you playing with? And in addition to bringing in a 5th QB, this time undrafted free agent to try out to go where, I have no idea. Because somebody about to get cut, moved out, or something. But what should happen is Stefanski should be fired. The other thing I didn't talk about, because I didn't want to talk about, because it shows just how gross this organization is, to allow Stefanski to treat Shedeur like he don't have ears. He not a human being. To allow Stefanski to push the narrative that he doesn't believe that Shedeur is worthy of being a quarterback. He doesn't see value in Shedeur being a quarterback. I'm going to just go ahead on and say it. Why does he have a job? You have a sub 500 record. You went 3-14 last year. Deshaun Watson did not fit Stefanski's system. Shedeur does not fit Stefanski's system. Stefanski is the reason that undrafted free agent Dillon Gabriel is on this squad, which means he's a wasted draft pick. So whose choice is it to go out here and get another undrafted free agent to try to keep Shedeur in the middle? And if Deshaun is coming back, what the hell are you going to get this undrafted free agent for? And what do you expect him to do? Other than take up space Is that what the Cleveland Browns are in the business of? Overpaying underperforming quarterbacks to take up space and constantly trying to tell black quarterbacks that they are not of value. Because Deshaun doesn't fit Stefanski's system, and neither does Shedeur, and they have two different skill sets as a quarterback. So is it that Kevin Stefanski believes that Shedeur Sanders isn't worthy enough to be a quarterback, or he doesn't find value in Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback because he's a black quarterback? I don't want to hear anything else about Deshaun Watson making $230 million when his insurance companies out here paying Deshaun Watson's salary. And when Shedeur is one play away from getting in and Deshaun Watson is a week from returning, here comes another undrafted, underperforming free agent because he's white. I'm sick of Stefanski. I'm sick of the discrimination and the racism that Stefanski is allowed to hurl at Shedeur through the media, directly or indirectly. I'm sick of it. Normal corporations can't function like this. They will be penalized financially. They will be sanctioned. People saying those are Haslam grandkids with the 12 on. This is Haslam teams, and Haslam is allowing Stefanski, who has a sub 500 record, to try to destroy Shedeur Sanders' career and his mentality. So because Shedeur decided he was going to let God decide his fate, he was going to let God have the will, you're going to go get an undrafted free agent, a fifth quarterback, to make sure there's not enough reps to go around, to bring in to try out. That's just ridiculous. It's just retaliation on top of retaliation on top of retaliation. Deshaun Watson retaliated against. Shedeur Sanders retaliated against. Justin Fields retaliated against. It's ridiculous. In my opinion, the Cleveland Browns can keep Stefanski. They can have Dillon, the undrafted free agent, and any goddamn body else. Trade Shedeur, but that's what they don't want to do. And it points to Haslam. There's no way Haslam would allow Stefanski to run his operation like a racist plantation without his approval, because he can't say he don't know. We just saw him. With all these scandals with the NBA, you're not going to tell me the NFL should be on that list. This is beyond egregious. This is disgusting. It's the same disgusting that Mel Kiper Jr. talked about on draft night when he realized, when they came to him before the combine, before they made the decision to disparage and defame Shedeur, that the NFL don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders. Now, it's because he's black. So they allow Kevin Stefanski, somebody who's a self-proclaimed servant leader of the Cleveland Browns, according to his Twitter or X bio, try to destroy this young man. And Shedeur's already said, you can't destroy my career. That's up to God. So now they want to get an undrafted free agent to come in and dig, to drive home the point that Kevin Stefanski is out here communicating to the media that Stefanski doesn't value Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback. Stefanski should be fired immediately. At this point, I don't even want Shedeur in Cleveland, which is why he should be traded. But yeah, it's going to reset the clock. And then they're going to start it over again. And then maybe Shedeur, like Tyreek Hill is talking about doing, should retire and join your brother on the content circuit, and y'all start your own damn league. You too good to be out here trying to play for people that are trying to destroy your career, destroy your reputation, destroy your spirit, your faith in God, and every damn thing else because you're black. So they're willing to go get somebody that's less qualified to you because they white and try to shake you out your boots because they think you desperate to play. Shout out to Tyreek Hill for saying he likes spending time with his family. Why would he want to go back to an organization that obviously does not appreciate his talent by leaving incompetence in at head coaching in Tua there till 2027, and instead Tua is better than Dillon? Why does Stefanski get to have his way? Why does Stefanski get to upend the organization? Why is Stefanski allowed to run rogue openly discriminating and trying to say he doesn't think Shedeur is valuable as a quarterback when everybody else with eyes and ears can see that his attacks against Shedeur are personal. I don't care if you think they do the bias, discrimination, or he just is a jackal. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. And not only has it been happening, it's been allowed to fester. And now y'all want to know why Black people were slaves for 400 years. This is why. Because people just stand around and watch it goddamn happen over and over and over and over and over. And yeah, people come out and speak up, but nobody's doing anything. Stefanski should be fired. This is disgusting, and this is on Haslam. So if you show up to that goddamn game, I don't care where it is, you supposed to just go and say you support 400 years of slavery. Because it's the same thing. It was disgusting, it was dehumanizing, and people let it happen for 400 damn years. How the hell does a losing coach have some say-so in running an organization into the ground? Why? Because he's racist and he's fulfilling a different agenda? This is disgusting. And I didn't even want to talk about this. I just said to myself, you know what? Let's just get him the hell out of here. But he might have to be like Tyreek Hill and retire. Tyreek Hill dislocated his knee. It seemed to be praising God that he was rescued from the damn Miami Dolphins. And now he like, I don't know, he ain't coming back. I'm going to have a conversation with some people. To the point he might have to give back some money, but it seemed like it's worth it. David Carr had to give back some money, but it seemed like it was worth it. Shedeur Sanders, I mean, he ain't got the money yet, but, you know, he does have some jerseys on the line. But it's disgusting for people to sit down and watch this young man be treated this way. Troy Aikman shouldn't have been the last voice to speak out. Somebody else should have joined him. A lot of voices should have joined him in unison. Y'all need to protest this damn organization that's openly discriminating against this young man and trying to cause him harm. Because now you can't trust Stefanski, who running around here telling Tony Grossi that he don't value Shedeur as a quarterback. Why the hell does he even get a say-so? He's not even qualified to hold Shedeur Sanders' cleats. But I guess as long as he out here being a servant leader, it's okay. This is what you need to be protesting. This is what you need to stay home for, whether it's raining or not, cold or sunny. You are complicit if you keep showing up to watch this young man be treated this way when you believe your own self that Stefanski is wrong, regardless of why you think he's wrong. You know he's not a good coach. So what is he going to do? How can anybody trust that Stefanski will have Shedeur's health and safety in mind if he's calling the plays for those last 4 games that Shedeur gets in? Same thing with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was never hurt like this in Texas. And I'm going to tell you, like I told anybody else, Deshaun Watson was given those phone numbers of those women by another Texas player that they didn't want to hold accountable. That's why he got $230 million, if you just ask me. It's called retaliation. And if you're going to retaliate against one person, then you better not you don't want to sometimes ensnare everybody else. So they decided to single out Deshaun. Justin Tucker told you that. They don't talk about him like they talk about Deshaun. It's disgusting. That's the only way it can be described. Think about it. The Browns need O-linemen. You out here bringing in a quarterback. What are you going to do with 5 quarterbacks? Your goal is not to win games if you're not focused on your O-line. So you're bringing in quarterbacks rather than O-linemen. What's the priority in Cleveland? So shout out to Shedeur, seeing him being up, coping, keeping himself up. We listened to videos on how these players had to try to cope while they was in Cleveland. So y'all show Shedeur some love whenever you see his stories, whenever you see his posts. But I'm of the opinion, he don't need the NFL because it's already looking like Shiloh don't need the NFL either. Shiloh's football career is stamped. And for him to go to the NFL and waste away on a practice squad when he can't even out here do the kind of brand deals that he's out here doing. Shiloh is going to be in Vegas for Complex Con. At the same time, Jackson State is in Vegas for the Las Vegas Bowl. And y'all know Shiloh went to Jackson State. And all he got to do is go over there. And maybe that's the plan. Because people wanted Shiloh to come to Jackson State homecoming. Turns out he going to be in Vegas the same time they in Vegas. Shiloh is on his way to going the same route as Destroying. Destroying don't need the NFL. The NFL didn't make him. The NFL ain't making Shiloh. They wanted to smother the Sanders family name. Well, you can't do that when they outside the league. And I'm sure Shedeur already has a plan for when he gonna call it quits rather than waste away, waiting and hoping for them to give them opportunity. And it's gonna be when God opens that door and he not gonna look back. And we know Shedeur with 4 million fans don't need the NFL. That's what Shiloh's journey is proving. Destroyed's journey is proving. And these guys coming out of college next year need to take note. There is a better path, a less harmful path, a path that you can walk and you can still benefit from financially. And guess what? You can walk away with your dignity and not have an identity crisis. You can have people love on you rather than people try to force you to submit or pair you against your brother so they can harm one and the other one is silent. One thing about it, NFL can't control the fans. And the fans going to have something to say. They released this information late on a Friday because they know if they would have said it a Monday morning, we'd be talking about it from next Monday all the way to next Friday. I don't care if they trade Shedeur. I believe bringing in another quarterback, trying to keep him in limbo or make him believe he's in limbo or shake his faith or shake his person, ruining his career, means they still colluding against him. And Kevin Stefanski is allowed to be biased against Shedeur. People say Kevin Stefanski has a personal grudge with Shedeur. No. Kevin Stefanski not the only person who seemingly has a problem with black quarterbacks. If Kevin Stefanski were the only person who seemingly have a problem with black quarterbacks leading, it wouldn't be a problem for there to be 17, 18, or 19, or 20 black starting quarterbacks in the league. So Kevin Stefanski is doing someone else's bidding. The problem is he's taking pleasure in it. So if you're going to go after Chauncey Billups, you're going to need to go after Kevin Stefanski. So shout out to Shiloh. I'm going to end this on a good note. And I'm going to get out here and I'm going to hit these ATL streets and I'm going to go enjoy myself. But y'all need to understand something. All of this feel good they be selling y'all. They knew they were bringing in a quarterback to try out the whole time. So choose your podcast and your media responsibly because they playing in your face. They have no problems allowing Shedeur to sit there and be tied up to a tree and whipped while they speculate what the problem is. They know what the problem is. Do you hear anybody calling for Haslam to fire Kevin Stefanski, even if they thought he had a personal grudge against Shedeur? Do you hear anybody in the media calling out how subpar Kevin Stefanski's record is, how Deshaun Watson didn't fit his quarterback style, how Shedeur Sanders don't fit his quarterback play style? And nobody wants to call out and say that his personal problem with Shedeur is racist and he should be fired and Haslam should fire him immediately. Nobody, because they all know. So if y'all see Shiloh this weekend, y'all make sure to support him. He's trying to get the 300,000 on YouTube. Make that happen. This is the lane that they deserve to be in because this is the lane the NFL tried to cut them out of. So they family, the legacy of the Sanders wouldn't continue to thrive. And it seems like the league thinks that Shiloh and Shedeur need them. No, they don't. No, they don't. When black NFL players talk about retiring and the ones that retire early and unexpected, they be so happy because they don't have to deal with this BS every day. Yeah, they might pay you millions, but they also make you pay for it. Ask Cam Ward. All right, so I'm going to get my stuff out of here. I'm going to read some of these comments to see how y'all feeling. I just hate that this happened. Again, I know why they buried this story. It's disgusting. And they don't really want to talk about it. And the trade deadline is approaching. So may God's will be done, whatever that is. Make sure I just pray Shedeur accept whatever God's will is for him. And I know he will. Amen. We can stand together and we say we pray for Shedeur. We can stand together and pray that God's will be done in Shedeur life. Amen. And he might play against the Patriots to their surprise. Hey there, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing, everybody? Nikki asked Selmo, how is he doing with all this Brown stuff? Did y'all hear the Browns brought in? That's what we talking about. Yep, that's what we talking about. It said Cleveland wants a lily white QB for the new stadium, and Jimmy Haslam is all for it. Right. So they went got an undrafted free agent because why? They still didn't get no O-lineman because I don't want the quarterbacks to be successful. I know Dillon not going to be successful. I'm fully aware of that. I'm not going to give Shedeur the opportunity. But I'm going to wait for the Manning kid to come out next year, so I'm going to go get this free agent this year. Somebody that's pennies on the dollar, that they likely going to overpay to underperform. And then, like Carson Wentz not working out in Miami, I didn't know this was going to happen. Stop letting these people play in y'all face. There are other things to do. There are other paths to success. And I'm sorry. You know, you got to understand what you're getting yourself into. And at this point, you've been warned. And if you keep choosing, just know God always trying to save us from the worst. So you've been warned. Yeah, you're going to get the millions, maybe. You likely going to be devalued, but you still going to get paid, but you're going to pay for it. Yeah, this team is crazy. It's ridiculous. It's a QB merry-go-round just to keep Shedeur from getting to the front. Facts, Nikki. Trade too. That's what I say. At this point, just trade him. Just trade him because this team shows you that they willing to cozy up to the media to put out all of these stories. But the whole while, they working to get this undrafted free agent in, and they think they slick enough to put it out here on a Friday when they think everybody finished talking. It said the Browns are full of it. Yes, they are full of it. They are totally full of it. They were talking about trading Watson, right? And they know they don't want Watson to play no more for the reason that I just said. Now, Watson did what others did. Justin Tucker is your prime example. Even if you don't know who other people's were in the Texans, you know Justin Tucker existed. I'm telling you, Deshaun Watson got those numbers from other players. I'm telling you. You could just put two and two together and figure out why you would pay somebody $230 million and they played their last snap already and they keep getting hurt. They don't want him to play no more. They don't want Deshaun Watson to enjoy his life. They were talking about earlier, yesterday, I think, late yesterday, how Deshaun Watson is doing everything he can to help Dillon because Deshaun Watson think that because they paid him $230 million that they're going to have to let him play. No. Why you keep getting hurt? The insurance company picking up the tab. So people can stop whining about Deshaun Watson's $230 million because Haslam ain't paying it. It said the Browns are full of it. Yep, absolutely. It said not sure, but wasn't Jerry Rice's son supposed to be at Colorado but went to another school? Yep, he went to USC and Colorado. Shedeur and them played against USC. So Shedeur and Brendan Rice actually could be a good duo, right? It could be a good duo. So yeah, your facts. And also too, Christian Gonzalez. At some point, he went from Colorado to Oregon. So it seemed like before when they fired the 1-11 coach or something like that, people hopped in the portal. That's what it's given because the coach was fired mid-season. And I don't know Jerry Rice's relationship with Coach Prime. It might be just fine. It said they really do need to trade Shedeur. I will be so glad when this is over because every time you look around, they be lying. Right. And I'm telling you, I was over here. We were talking. We were getting ready to go out. And, it was said, you know what? Just mention it. Just talk about it because I wasn't going to say nothing. I had already put out, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Not that I'm there. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Because I'm tired of seeing this young man be treated this way. And nobody, I hear people say, but I want somebody to actually do something about it. Thank you for speaking up. Do something. Actually do something. It's called accountability. There is none. And they worried about who the hell gambling in the NBA? What the hell y'all got going on in the NFL? Don't be worried about the NBA because I know y'all got something to do with that too. Ain't no way with this type of foolishness and unchecked vitriol for black quarterbacks, y'all ain't involved. Hell no. It said now this is a bull junk, right? Friday late. And everything out there, in addition to bringing in the quarterback with Stefanski putting it out to his buddy Grossi, using the media just like his dad did, which is why his dad got the job in Philadelphia with the 76ers. And there's no connection. Now that's what needs to be done. Kevin Stefanski, he need to go. He need to go. And somebody needs to do something to allow this kid to have to endure this foolishness. And then look at Justin Fields. I'm like, sometimes, and not sometimes, I really believe after Shedeur declared his faith and him not being bothered because he let God lead, Travis go ahead and get baptized. He can't get all of the playing time to help the team win. And now Justin Fields being lambasted by the owner because instead of being frazzled after being sacked 150 times, they want him. He not crying in the corner. He decided to let God lead. I think that's why they mad. I think that's why they're mad. Because if they expect control of these players' lives and can't get it because these players choose to submit to God, they feel offended. That's your damn problem. Just like Kevin Stefanski. That sounds personal to me. And if you don't know this young man, and if I look at your pattern of behavior, even with Deshaun Watson, you don't think black quarterbacks are worthy of being NFL quarterbacks. And if that's what has them want to prop up and support, you eventually will pay for it because racism is expensive. And everybody's talking about it. They want to call it this. Say this seems something's wrong with this. Do something. Somebody needs to actually do something. Have some courage to actually hold the Browns accountable. Have some courage to hold Stefanski accountable outside of your goddamn words. Because as you can see, they don't care. So physically, do something. All of these grown men talking about this situation and they don't do anything. Shameful. All you telling the younger generation is they on their own. You don't do nothing to help Cam. Don't do nothing to help Justin Fields. Don't even talk about how Justin Fields has been sacked 150 times in his short career. Mike Tomlin did something. He rescued Justin Fields. He rescued Russell Wilson, and he tried to rescue Shedeur. The rest of you need to do something. I hope this team trades Shedeur, and I am from here. I have never been a Browns fan. I can see why, Valerie, because, what are we supporting here, right? What's even the point of supporting the Browns? For what? It's not even entertainment. After the Warriors defeated whoever they defeated, they posted, were you not entertained? You're not even entertained. Miami's game was not entertaining. If so, your ceiling for entertainment is low. It said fire Kevin Stefanski. Right. It need to be fired. And it's funny how they knew all of this was going to happen, which is why they put the story out late. It said, I bet the new guy gets reps with the ones before 12. Right. Because from what I could see and from what I can read, whether it was reading about what Albert Breer said, listening to what Tony Grossi said about what Kevin Stefanski said about Shedeur not being valuable as a quarterback, which I'm so sick of that. It said that Shedeur will just exist in the middle. He will be in limbo. One article said, Breer said it's illogical to think Shedeur is going anywhere. That they just going to hold him captive. I guess he's going to play 4 games for the hell of it. But is he going to be sacked excessively? That is a concern. With Kevin Stefanski at the helm, I'm not going to ever tell Coach Prime what to do because I know the Sanders are waiting on God. But I'm going to be waiting on the edge of my seat during any game Shedeur play in with Kevin Stefanski on the property. Headset or not. Because there's an agenda. And when you have this kind of vitriol to somebody and you bold with it, I mean, you already had him set up with the Rams game. So what you gonna do now? Why would he get a fair shake now? Did he get one when they wanted to decide who was gonna be QB2? No. They knew Shedeur was better than Dylan. Set Shedeur up so Dylan could move ahead. And now look. And when Shedeur gets the opportunity, because we know that this game is probably gonna be like, okay, we got to get somebody else. They done ran out here and then brought in somebody else to look at. Is he black? No. They got rid of Huntley. Was he black? Yep. That's Kevin Stefanski's doing. Kevin Stefanski is giving the impression that his personal problem is racism. And I want somebody to do something and hold him accountable and protect these black quarterbacks from him. Hell, the white ones too. They don't need racism pushed upon them. Their parents probably didn't raise them that way. Who does Kevin Stefanski think he is? He's not even a good coach. That's why he acting entitled. He a Nepo baby. The lines between the NBA and the NFL are blurred. It says Stefanski will get what's due him in time. Facts. That's facts. It said, I think Stefanski clock started when he had played Dylan. The moment Shedeur throws the first pass over 10 yards, he fired. That's what they were pointing out. Shedeur is easy at 10 yards over, right? Tua over here trolling, telling us that Dylan can't see by telling us he can't see. And somebody came to me on X when I said that and said, well, that means Shedeur can't see. I'm like, it's obvious that Shedeur can connect with his receivers. It's obvious Shedeur throws his receivers open, which is why I think they're running out here to get the other guy or anybody else, whether it's performative or not. It's meant to harm. It's ridiculous. Why you just don't activate Bailey Zapp then? Why haven't they done that? Because I thought they would have by now. Rational people find it difficult to understand the ways of the irrational. And that's what we're dealing with the Browns. Their behavior is irrational because they're not strategizing to win. They're strategizing to keep Shedeur from QB1. And somebody needs to do something. Hey, OC Tillman, how you doing? It's that first it was witches and warlocks. Now it's another QB. These folks are diabolical, right? It's just crazy. It's just ridiculous. It said as long as there's someone giving Kevin Stefanski the nod, yup, Haslam, he will continue to do his BS, right? Because what did I point out after the one game that they lost? And we heard the little story circulate that Stefanski was thinking of giving up the signal caller, the QB role, calling the plays. Shouldn't his OC be really calling the plays? Why is Stefanski calling the plays? Because Stefanski have chosen and takes delight in being a faithful servant, which means he will be the signal caller for Shedeur. This is evil, people. That's why rational people feel like at some point he gonna have to get in there. And then what? Stefanski set him up to be hurt. And then if that happens, then what? Point, Shiloh does not need the NFL. He likely wants to play in the NFL, but it might be a good idea to realize that you're being protected because you have a better path outside of the NFL. Look at Destroying. He's the perfect example. Yeah, it's ridiculous. People saying he hates Shedeur. No, I think he don't like black. I think he has a problem with black quarterbacks. There are no black offensive coordinators in the NFL, right? Kevin Stefanski is a head coach calling his own plays. They're trying to boot out Atlanta's offensive coordinator because of his predictable play calling. I have said multiple times that Cleveland was looking like Colorado. Why is Kevin Stefanski calling the plays? Because that's how you ensure that whatever their motive is to set Shedeur up and destroy, Kevin Stefanski can make sure that happens. No black offensive coordinators. Because you know why? Because just like Brian Flores, we gonna tell. Yeah. We gonna get a group of us together and file a class action lawsuit, and we gonna tell. That's why there's no black offensive coordinators. That's why there's almost no black head coaches. That's why the Jets season is going like it is. They don't want Aaron Glenn to stay there past 2 years. They're gonna make sure for 2 years nothing can happen, and then they're gonna start harping on him like they do the black quarterbacks that I have mentioned. I don't know how many times. Y'all know who they are. The Green Bay Packers was supposed to win the Super Bowl, right? Now Aaron Rodgers want to go retire there. If Stefanski can get his way, I guess Aaron Rodgers can get his way. Wasn't Jordan Love the quarterback that was there when he got ready to, when he was like, okay, I want out of here because they brought Jordan Love in, so they gonna let him boot out Jordan Love? Isn't that something? Yeah, that's all it is. That's why it's so much chaos in the NFL. Because what you see happening with Shedeur, it's not just happening to Shedeur. They're out here playing musical QB chairs to hold back 17 black starting quarterbacks. Cleveland is an example of what's going on, where Cam Ward is, Spencer Rattler is, Jalen Milroe is, Jalen Hurts, and Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, and who else? Did I say Jordan Love and Malik Willis? Yeah. You see how they all paired up together? They work to make sure that the black QBs are paired up together. People keep saying Shedeur gonna get traded. They don't think it's the Jets. I'm like, actually, I could see it being the Jets because they don't have a QB3. And I said it was weird that they didn't have a QB3 because why? They got one quarterback that's hurt, which means they got one quarterback. So yeah, he could go right over there with a black quarterback, and they hurt the black quarterback career, they hurt the black coach career, and the other two black quarterback careers. They can get them all at the same time by holding back the Jets. Yes, that's what we are. That's what the NFL is right now. Why do you think Justin Jefferson is upset in Minnesota? Because they moved Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, and both of them were on their rosters and winning in their respective teams. So why is it they couldn't win in Minnesota? Because it had to be J.J. McCarthy. They have it bet the damn farm in J.J. McCarthy so much so that they went and got Carson Wentz off his couch. And you already saw that play out with Flacco. I guess Flacco like the hell with y'all. I'm gone. And he a starter over there in Cleveland, in Cincinnati, where Shedeur could have went. Shedeur could have went to every team y'all can pretty much mention that needs a damn quarterback. Stefanski is not the only person who doesn't value Shedeur as a quarterback. That is code for we don't want no more black starting quarterbacks. So when you're talking about Dante Moore coming out next year and going to Cleveland, I'm going to remind you, when was the last time you heard Lenore Sellers coming out going number one? And what happened to him in between? He got heavily concussed. Dante Moore better stay in school. Just like I said, Lenore Sellers' father should have took that damn $8 million. Stop acting like this is just happening to Shedeur. Pay attention holistically to all of these black starting quarterbacks. They talk about every day how Jalen Hurts got some of the top stats and they refuse to say he's a top 5 quarterback because he's black. Don't be afraid to say it, and don't be a person that find yourself on this damn internet saying, well, I hate to say it's racism. This is the United States of America. That's all it will ever be. That's all it has ever been. Whether it was black people, Native Americans, Hispanics, or anybody else. Anybody. Which is why when people come to this country, they try to play the game. And the game involves dismissing black people until you need us. Now, black people have told you what it was going to be, and that's exactly what it is. And I said Lenore's father should have took that damn money, and I'm right. Dante Moore better stay in school. Get his chance to fix itself or whatever. Or go find something else to do. Because don't believe the hype that this is just Shedeur. Because it's also Jalen Hurts too. And he just won the damn Super Bowl. And they dismantled his team too, like they did Steve McNair when he took his team to the Super Bowl. And look at what they did to Cam Newton when he took his team to the Super Bowl. Oh, we can't find a suitable trade partner. That is also an option for Shedeur. Bringing in another quarterback. Yeah, we tried to find somewhere else for you to go, but yeah, sorry. They did the same thing to Lamar Jackson. In free agency, nobody needed an MVP. No, nobody needed a black MVP. Stop acting like this not racism. This is exactly what it is. Nobody is a servant leader to a job at all. And that person gets to sink the whole ship because they have approval from the people that took Shedeur off the board. So they might be turning the page where Shedeur is concerned, that it's better off for him, like his brother, to be out of the league and go be successful like Shiloh is right now. Because they have everything they need. Like, this is ridiculous. Baker Mayfield did not meet Stefanski's system. Baker Mayfield didn't meet Stefanski's system, but the difference between Baker Mayfield, you don't see Baker Mayfield was never treated like Shedeur was being treated. I like how people want to bring up that, you know, it's a QB carousel. It is. But when it's a black QB, it's devilish. It's harmful. It's mentally harmful. And you likely underpaid and you get devalued. And you think Shedeur gonna get the opportunity to move on like Baker Mayfield and Flacco based on what you see right now? Not what you think. What you see right now. No. He gonna need Jesus to open that door again and to make the crooked places straight. I ain't saying it ain't gonna happen, but the way it's set up right now, that's not the intent. That's my point. But like I always say, we're gonna see what God says. But just like I pointed out in the draft, they colluded against Quinn Ewers too. But do you see them treating Quinn Ewers like they treat Shedeur? No. But here's what they said about Jalen Milroe when he got drafted. Oh, he buried on the depth chart for 2 years. They had him at QB2. And when he balled out in the preseason, they moved him to QB3. It's not just Shedeur. It's black quarterbacks. And that becomes apparent every day if you pay attention to the black quarterbacks and the narratives that are being pushed about them. They'll probably treat Quinn Ewers like Brock Purdy at some point. That's what people want and expect for Shedeur. But just like they knew they was going to bring this guy in, this QB in today on a Friday to work out and not tell us till y'all found something else to do, meaning they already knew why they was pushing the narratives. Shedeur could start for the Jets. Now is Deshaun could start after the Jets. Now is Shedeur going to play 4 games no matter what? Then I'm going to go get another quarterback. Sound like he about to be waived, just like they said. And I'm not going to have a suitable trade partner for you. They don't fear any consequence at all. Because nobody does anything. Just talk about it. So may God's will be done. Tuka retire tomorrow, return the money, coach middle school QBs, and wait for serious offers to come out of retirement. Think about how long Warren Moon had to play in Canada. Was it 6 years? He could retire and live his life without the NFL, just like Shiloh. And the Sanders family can go start their own goddamn football program, league, flag, touch, 7 versus 7, 1v1. I don't care what it is. These people, the Sanders, they have everything they need to go start their own league. I'm not saying you need 32 teams tomorrow. No. But with all of these new women's leagues popping up, that's the blueprint for how to do it. Unrivaled. Now there's a new women's volleyball league. Professionals. They play here right outside of Atlanta in Duluth. Then there's a new women's baseball league. Now there's a new women's basketball league in addition to Unrivaled, something that just started with 4 teams in Charlotte. The blueprint is there for women's sports. This is why people are watching women's sports. Look at what's happening with the NBA. Look at the mess that the NFL is in. The NFL is in shambles, and I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about it's chaotic because I'm trying to play musical chairs with 17 black quarterbacks. And the ones that I'm choosing to prefer, I'm not picking them based on talent, so they're not good, so they failing. But I keep hyping them up in the narrative so people will come watch them play, but they keep failing because you're not selecting people based on talent. You pushing black talent aside for your preference because you don't want to pay black talent $50. Some of them can't stomach it, and I happen to believe that Kevin Stefanski just might be one. I don't care how many black people we stand next to. That does not mean you're not racist. But the behavior he has exhibited towards Shedeur that people want to label as a personal problem is bias, and bias, racial bias. Because you can look at Deshaun Watson too. And I'm sure you can look at some of the other black quarterbacks that he's coached. There's no logical reason why an underperforming coach with the same record as another coach that was fired is allowed to stay there and ruin the career of a player that the owners took off the board that they never had to draft. So now Shedeur has to make sure he can cope every day. Following God is one thing. It's not always easy. You still seeing the things that they want you to see. You still feel the hurt that they want you to feel. And you have to tap in and make sure that you lean on your faith every single time. It's not like a microwave where you just put it on for 5 seconds and you good. It's not some kind of superpower. No. It's something you have to constantly rely on. And we've heard former Cleveland players, one black, one white, talk about how they had to try to cope with playing in Cleveland for different reasons. And the same reason the black player had to cope because his head coach wasn't talking to him. And I don't even know who his head coach was. Let me find out that it's Stefanski. It's the same reason that Shedeur is having to cope out here. So you see him hopping and skipping across. He's trying to cope. It's good that he has joy behind our understanding. But understand this. I've said this before. Don't think it's easy, because it's not. He should be out here living his best life, playing ball. But instead, he's going to have to start resigning himself with the fact that they don't want no more black starting quarterbacks in this league. And Cleveland does not want a first-round black franchise QB. They've never had one. They don't want one. And they're willing to do whatever to not have one and to ruin the careers of the ones that they get by force, whether it's Deshaun or whether it's Shedeur. But Deshaun was not drafted by Cleveland. Shedeur was the first round pick. He would have been the first black franchise QB first round pick. And you see what they did to make sure it didn't happen. And you see what they do every day to make him feel like he's not valuable. That's cruelty. That's abuse. And somebody needs to do something. It said, I can't wait till Shedeur ends his coaching, ends Stefanski's coaching job. I don't know. I think Shedeur gonna be gone before Stefanski. Stefanski should be gone already. Let me just put it out there. It said they are doing everything possible to run him off while holding him hostage. There you go. Well said. Crown of the day, Nikki Sofit. They are doing everything possible to run him off while holding him hostage. That is abuse. I believe that they don't want a black QB. They don't. Look, Huntley was right there. He could have went to their practice squad. They sent him. They just cut him. I guess, luckily, I don't think they traded him to Baltimore. They just cut him. Like they probably finna do Shedeur. Just bye. Like they did to Cam. Bye. That's why I said, these people don't deserve his talent. And I think if he don't ever play, it's because Stefanski is going to get this young man hurt. Y'all saw the Rams game. If Stefanski was over there trying not to crack a smile, he should have been fired right then and there. Set up for failure. Right. And we beyond set up for failure. They are holding him hostage. When he does play, it's set up for failure. We talking about set up to be harmed. We have moved past set up for failure. We are into set up to harm. Because I can't keep you down. I keep trying to say things to hurt you, so either you'll leave or somebody will come get you. But can't nobody come get you. That's why they keep kicking on it. And I don't want you out here playing because you're going to make me look stupid. So what's the next step? Set up to fail, set up to harm. And people going to be like, oh, no, okay. You must have forgot the Rams game. You think it's a coincidence they'll never want to talk about the Panthers game, but they always want to talk about the Rams game? No, they took pleasure in that. The Sean Kaiser went 0-15. Stefanski wasn't even the head coach. But the head coach they had at the time said he was being incentivized to lose. Just like Brian Flores. Instead, what became of Shedeur's lawsuit? I don't think Shedeur have a lawsuit yet. But I'm of the opinion they must be waiting. Because it said OC Tillman, it said for marketing clicks, and yeah. No, I don't think he had a lawsuit. You're talking about that $100 million lawsuit by the fan. That's what if that's what you're talking about, I guess it's still out there. I'm gonna only have to believe it's still out there. I know where Brian Flores lawsuit is. I read the legal papers on that one. I know that one is moving through the courts and is moving through the courts faster than the other one. So I'm sure they're both being stalled, right? I'm pretty sure that's a legal strategy to stall. It said one thing for certain: Shedeur is fully armored up with God, and no weapons formed against you shall prosper. Right? That's true. But understand, it does hurt. It does hurt in the process. You get to a point eventually where it does not, but you still have to move past the disappointment and constantly rely on your faith, right? And when him being so young like that, you know, you got to believe that he's only still there because he wait for God to, if God to open the door, I'm not supposed to go nowhere. That is a reality. That is a reality. That is a reality. And that's not an easy position to be in because sometimes, I mean, he might get to the point where he sees Shiloh out here thriving. You know, hell, I want to go do that. But wait a minute. I said I was going to wait on God. Right. You don't wait on God in just the times that you feel like, well, maybe these people will change their mind. You wait on God, even though you know they're not going to change their mind. No, he didn't do a lawsuit. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. All right. It said the Browns are attention seeking. It said maybe they're trying to increase their membership to the special society with whom they are loyal to. Facts. I believe that. I also think it's time to sell some more season tickets for next year. And you would think that they care about that, but they don't. Like I said, Haslam want to be Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones' number one priority is selling season tickets. He don't care about nothing else. It's documented. I read the book. Turf Wars. That's what they talked about in chapter 2. It said, okay, Tina Davis. It said, you're probably right. It said, this speaking facts. It said the DEI coach won't last for long. It said the Clowns are going to lose horribly, and it will be Stefanski's fault. We're going to see. That's why I said this game is pivotal. This game, the way they act after this game, right? We already said with the Miami game that the Browns were supposed to lose. I already said that game was rigged. I stand by. The question is, will this game be rigged for Stefanski to win? Or maybe they don't care about losing because now they got a fifth quarterback. They did it for a reason. And they knew they were doing it the whole time. So, and for them to go get a young white quarterback, they know what they're doing. They basically telling these black quarterbacks, we don't want y'all. Look at how black quarterbacks do in Cleveland. Look at Baker Mayfield gets to go on. Flacco gets to go on. Let's see if Deshaun gets to move forward. Let's see if Shedeur gets to move forward. If you want to say Deshaun washed, okay. You can't say that about Shedeur. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna get myself out of here. I'm glad I did come on because I wasn't. Because I'm telling you, I'm like, you know what? This is so frustrating. I don't even want to bring this up because it's just more of the same where the Browns are concerned, right? And like, it makes you want to tune out. But I came back to football because of Shedeur, right? And just like Coach Prime over there in Colorado, I'm a ride to the wheels fall off. I'm a ride to the wheels fall off. I have said to myself, okay, how can I talk about this with something that's impactful and productive while Shedeur waits on God? And I wasn't going to talk about this, but this is something you need to know because it shows how slick they trying to be by one, doing this on a Friday, putting it out late on a Friday. No other media, even the Browns parents, nobody talked about it because they wanted it to go under the radar because they know we're going to be upset about it. They want the fans to still be on board with anything that they do. So I don't want the fans to know I'm trying to get another quarterback. So either you are admitting that Dylan is the failure that you knew he was going to be because you went and got another undrafted free agent and you think he's going to be better than it. Proves that Kevin Stefanski is incompetent, but he serves a purpose. And that's holding back Black franchise quarterbacks. Yeah. And especially Shedeur, because why? They want to get the Manning kid next year. That's why I went and got an undrafted free agent this year, because I don't care about this year. If I cared, I would have got some O-linemen. But no, I went and got a fifth quarterback who's an undrafted free agent. That shows you the bar is real low in Cleveland. And Shedeur is up here. This is what I mean by he better. He too good. Sometimes when you too good for a situation, God gonna let you see before he extract you from it. Exodus. Because your heart got to be ready to deal with this dream gonna end. And you have to have enough faith to know I'm gonna give you a new dream. So you don't panic. So you don't freak out. So you don't ask why. So you don't go into a depression. That's called being held. Shedeur is being held. All right, so I'm gonna hit these 404 streets and go enjoy myself and celebrate. I'm glad I shared this with y'all, so y'all can understand that when you hear these people all saying the same thing, it might be something else going on. That's all I'm saying. Because they told you all week, Shedeur could do this. Shedeur could play the last 4 games, and Shedeur could play before the Jets, play after the Jets game, and now Shedeur could be traded. But they ain't tell you they was running out and trying out another quarterback that makes number 5. The same situation they had, said Shedeur couldn't get first team reps because it's too many quarterbacks. They have recreated the same damn situation that they just had. They moved out Pickett, moved out Flacco, bringing back in Deshaun, and now I went and got another undrafted free agent like Bill. But I don't want Shedeur. So you don't want to win. Well, I ain't gonna waste my time on you. So I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 10 o'clock for game night for Colorado versus Utah. Hopefully we get some joy that we could cheer and celebrate some wins for these kids over here in Colorado. It starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The notifications already went out. If you didn't get one, just come back to What She Said Sports YouTube page and you'll see the time and the announcement, and you could just click on that. All right, y'all. Good night. Good night. Good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. I hope you deem the information valuable. Make sure you stay in the know and don't believe nothing they say coming out of Cleveland. All right. See you later. Thanks for watching What She Said. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.